Well, I got some company. Are you comfortable in there? All right, gonna head to Tractor Supply. $3.04 a gallon for unleaded here. I don't know what you guys' gas is. I got the co-pilot here. Anyway, I'm gonna go over here to Tractor Supply. I'm gonna buy a brand new Flexzilla air hose. That is my favorite air hose to use for painting. That thing is like a limp noodle when you put it in the floor. It's not like them plasticky ones when you're trying to paint a car and it slaps the side of the car because it's too stiff. I got to get a couple of fittings for the air hose because my quick connect is leaking a little bit. It's getting worn out. And then there was something else I was going to get. I forgot what it was. Dang it. I'll figure it out. All right. She knows exactly where she's going. They do allow pets in this store, which is kind of nice. And I asked permission to vlog in here, so. Oh boy. You don't need no book you can't read. Come on. Let's go this way. You know where you're going. Get over here, man. Look. Look at that. Yeah, there she goes. Now she knows where she's at. All right, so I get her these right here. Now, this is what's cool. You know, rawhides are really not a good thing for dogs because they can get stuck in their throat and kind of stuff, but she'll eat the chicken off of it and then she won't even mess with the rawhide, so we end up throwing the rawhide away, which is pretty cool. So all right, now let's go get an air hose. Oh, you don't know where you're going now, do you? All right, so moving on. All right, I couldn't keep filming, holding on to her and this other stuff, so I got my Flexzilla hose here, my preferred. It was 38 bucks, I think, here. I think it might be cheaper online, I'm sure, but anyway, these are just my favorite. Anyway, now it's time to go back and do some work. You gonna help me today? All right, so I got the fenders out today, and I thought I had one of them sanded, but I did not. Both of them had to be sanded, so I got one done. It took quite a while, probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours because it's so intricate. I used like 5 different sanding blocks, and then had to go over it and make sure it's all good and touch it up in places. Anyway, so now I got one more of those to go. It's supposed to be 70 tomorrow, and I kind of thought I might want to paint the fenders tomorrow. But anyway, I had to make a fixture to hold the fenders. This is another tonneau cover display piece that I brought home. I ended up screwing 2 pieces of wood on it, and this fits up in the body line, that peak down the side of the fender. So it holds the fenders out straight, and they're very stable. I put it on concrete blocks to get a little height out of it. But I hand sanded that fender with it on that, and it wasn't moving all around, so that was pretty cool. So I'm going to clean it up, and then that's what I'll use to paint it on afterwards. But anyway, I moved on to the deck lid. I had to redo it, re-sand it again because of all the trash. So anyway, I had to go over that real good, and it was starting to get dark a little bit, and there is 0 wind today, like nothing's moving. So I was like, if I'm going to paint this outside today, this is it. So I mixed up some paint and went ahead and shot it. I didn't have really anything in the paint until I let it flash off about 15 minutes, and then I put the second coat on, and then it's got trash in it. But it's not as bad as it was, so I don't really care. I'm over it at this point. The main area I wanted to look good was this right here, because this is what you'll see when the trunk lid's open, and that is good. It's just trash up in this area up here, which I can go in and kind of sand those areas and hand polish them back out. I did get a couple of runs because I was moving pretty quick trying to get it done. So my wife's on her way home. She should be here in about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna have her help me get this back in the garage and get the door shut before the moisture starts falling. It's already cooled off quite a bit. So, all right, so it is the morning of Monday, 31st of January. It's the last day for this month. And then I pretty much got, what was it, 18 days left? Yeah, about that. So anyway, I got one fender sanded. This one I'm getting set up out here. I'm getting ready to sand this one. And then when it's done, I'm gonna go through and plastic up a little bit of this carport, try to build a makeshift paint booth. And I'm going to paint the front fenders out here today. So anyway, I got all my fresh water, everything ready. I'm going to run through this stuff. This is stuff that I do have to do bodywork, primer, block, prime again, and then sand to paint. So I do have a little bit of work to do on this stuff. Both hood related. This is a brace that I made that goes underneath the hood. The factor one's kind of wide and just kind of plain Jane, ugly looking. So I used pipe caps, and I kind of stepped them on the end to make it where it's fatter. But anyway, this will all be bodyworked and painted satin black or trim black. And this is the hood latch brace that bolts under the hood. I went through and speed holed the crap out of this thing. I built a custom bracket back here. But anyway, I'm going to be wiping filler all along this top edge here on both sides and the sides right here, because it has all kinds of little stretch wrinkles here from the pressing, and it's kind of wavy. So I'm going to go ahead and slick these parts up really good. But anyway, I'll show you another part I got to body work, and I think this is only 3 things I have to body work. It's not big time stuff. This is probably going to take the longest. I'd started doing body work on this and then I quit, and this has been stored in my house, but I haven't touched this thing in probably 2 years, maybe longer than that, I don't know. So this is remnants of an original front bumper that I cut sections out of to shorten it a little bit, and of course I thinned it down, and then I plated it in like a male slot, and it's actually for this cooler. So I've got 2 threaded holes here. There's 2 threaded holes underneath. That's where these will bolt to. Anyway, it does bolt up underneath as well. So this is going to be painted trim black as well. This is basically a lower air dam for the front bumper. The bottom of a 55 Chevy front bumper is higher than the bottom of the front of the rockers. So this will make the car look lower and give it a little bit of attitude at the front. So anyway, I just thought it'd be kind of cool, but there's a lot of work to do still yet. I do have to do some grinding. I got to go in here with a cone burr die grinder and radius those, make them nice and curved, and that way when I put filler around them, everything will look molded in, and all the tabs and stuff I made. The back side of it I'm going to spray with Raptor liner, so the back will be pretty durable. I know the frontal, it's going to get chipped up, but it's just the way it is. It unbolts, so if it gets too chipped up after time of driving it for a long time, I can unbolt it and sand it all down or reshoot it again. So not a big deal. But anyway, I thought that'd be kind of cool. You'll see it coming at you, and it has like a mouth right there to pull in air for that trans cooler. But anyway, there's a lot of work to do to that still yet, but I got time. So I did start on upholstery last night, and it kind of turned into a mess. Lots of little crap on that upholstery. I don't even have enough wire to fasten the seat covers down. So anyway, I'm probably gonna have to make a trip to the upholstery shop in Tulsa. I also need to get some carpet so I can carpet my trunk panel that goes in here that has the raised GM logo with a bar under it. It's the same carpet as that. Anyway, so I need to get that carpet for that, and some, I don't know what they're called, listing wires, or I don't even know. But I'm going to get a bunch of them. I need some long ones for the front seat. The original wires out of that original bench, I guess the car had the windows down where it was at, because a lot of those wires were really, really rotted, so couldn't use them. So pretty much got to replace them all. But anyway, that's what's going on today. I'm going to try to get the fenders painted first. That's like my biggest thing. And at that point, I'll probably cut loose with some body filler and try to get started on some of this stuff. I'm going to have to clean these parts back to bare metal because they do have rusty fingerprints and surface rust on them. But anyway, I did Scotch-Brite my door faces down. Basically, I do that to crack it open. Basically, if you've ever went in to sand a paint job that's pretty fresh, that fresh smell of paint hits you in the face real heavy. I call it cracking it loose. Basically, Scratched it open with a gray Scotch-Brite, a fine one, just to kind of open it up and let it kind of cure out a little bit before the color sand and buff process. I'm not going to have to buff the jambs, which is kind of nice. Bottom of the deck lid, I'm probably going to have to buff it. It does have trash in it, but it's not as severe as it has been, so I'll take it this time. But anyway, I am going to upholster some panels to go in these inserts here, so I don't have to worry about all the trash in those, but all the main area I do. What else? I guess that's it, guys. I got to get to work. I'm already behind. Well, I cobbled up a paint booth out here kinda in my carport, and I'm waiting 20 minutes between coats, and it is getting, you know, stuff in the paint, but it is nothing like it's getting it in the garage. That is absolutely amazing. The top open here, I didn't even cover that side or the back. Wind's blowing today. Yesterday was 0 wind, but I did wet all the grass and everything down real good with a hose, which it's starting to dry out a little bit. But anyway, I got getting ready to put on another coat. Anyway, I mean, I'm going to sand and buff them anyway, and then. All right, this is the front lower splash apron. Now, I already had this sanded, or I mean painted, but it had so much trash in it from the 2 coats that I put in on it the other day that I went ahead and sanded it down and reshot it. So I'm getting minimal dust out here, even with it out in the open like it is, so pretty amazing. 62 degrees is what the temp is. It's actually warm in here, and I think it's because it's plastic and the sun's against it. I can feel heat coming off of it. So this has helped kicking the paint off pretty quick, so that's even better. But I've still got the top side of the deck lid to paint and the top side of the hood to paint, and both of those need wet sanded, so probably be a day process to get them wet sanded and shot.